Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and welcome to my very first episode of Noob Tips here inside of Overwatch. Today we're going to be talking about becoming a better shooter. Now we're actually playing this on the Xbox One. I had an early access key. I figured I'd show you guys what the Xbox One version looks like, as I do plan on playing almost all of my Overwatch over on the PC. But I know there's a lot of you playing it on the console, and here it is. You know, it's a little bit less sharp. That's all there really is to know about it. It's not as clear, it's a little bit more blurry, but it still has the same wonderful sense of character and color that you would expect from what you've already seen from Overwatch. So let's move forward with the noob tips, guys. Very excited for this series, because I know there's a whole slew of people out there who maybe are making Overwatch their very first-person shooter, and I want to make sure that their venture into that bold arena as awesome and as enjoyable as it possibly can be. And that's why the very first topic of discussion that we have while we're here in the beta is becoming a better shooter. At its core, Overwatch is a game about shooting things, and even when you have a character that doesn't really need precision fire, chances are they have another ability that still requires precision. For example, this is Roadhog. He shoots people with this sort of, scrappy shotgun scrap thing, and then he loads more scrap into it, and then he shoots him in the face again. At the same point in time, he has a hook shot. Boom. That's his skill shot. So there's a lot of support characters who may not have a primary ability that is about precision, but chances are they have a secondary ability or some sort of a support ability that is about precision. And that's where the hookshot comes into play. Something you're definitely going to want to be a really great shooter in order to use as effective as possible. So that's why I know this is going to be really helpful for a lot of people. It's not just about making you a better Mccree or a better sniper. It's about making you better at every hero you'll ever play in Overwatch. Hell, even Reinhardt has a skill shot. But let's go ahead and hop into somebody who is a little bit more precise. Let's go ahead and mess around with Mccree, one of my favorite characters in Overwatch right now. Mccree is all about that precision fire, man. That's what he does. He's a gunslinger. And every once in a while, he might fan fire a bunch of bullets point blank and kill somebody. But for the most part, it's all about precision. Now, there's really two big things that we need to talk about when it comes to this whole tutorial. It's really all it comes down to. There's nothing crazy and insane here for you to learn. It's just two things I want you to focus on. Number one, sensitivity settings. Whether you're playing on the PC or on the console, you have to recognize that Overwatch isn't Call of Duty. It isn't about 360 no-scoping, and chances are if you can turn your character around faster than this, your sensitivity is way too high and you're going to suffer in the form of a lack of precision and consistency when engaging targets. So, let's take a look at my sensitivity settings. Now, this is on the Xbox One. If you're playing on PC, honestly, if this is your very first-person shooter, you should do some serious research on playing an FPS with the mouse, because there's a lot of things to learn, reducing, making raw input, getting rid of mouse acceleration. But really, the general rule of thumb, as I said, is that Overwatch is a game about precision. So you want to set your sensitivity up to give you the best possible precision and consistency, not 360 no-scopeness. So if you guys want to go ahead and copy my sensitivity settings here, if you're playing on the console, feel free, give it a go. Maybe turn down the horizontal. I wouldn't mess with your vertical too much. I'd sit it at 15 and honestly just leave it there. You're not going to really need it to be any higher than that. You'll be all right. For the most part, horizontal is really what you want to concern yourself with. Now, there's also a slew of reticles you can select. It's really up to you. I prefer a dot because I just like that really simplistic precision, but they have crosshairs, they have a circle. They also have different colors. You can turn off bloom if it's not something you're interested in. However, I don't know, I just kind of like the effect, so I've learned to deal with it over the time. But pick the color that stands out the most to you across the largest number of backgrounds, because losing your reticle, that's actually a serious thing, and especially if you're new to FPS, it's gonna happen. Just keep messing with the colors until you find something that sticks. Worry about your sensitivity, and as I said, go for precision, not for speed. This is what precision can grant you. Nice, controllable fire. I'm never going to need in a situation to, snap around. If I put myself in that situation as someone like Mccree, well, maybe I can roll out of it, maybe I can flashbang out of it, but chances are I've kind of already screwed myself, and everyone who's going to be taking this game seriously is going to be playing with sensitivity settings like this. So don't be concerned that, you're playing Call of Duty with 4 sensitivity and everybody else is playing with 11. It's just not going to happen. Now, the area that we're in right now is available in the beta. It will be available in the full game as well. It's one of the training areas. It's called the firing range, and it's loaded with wonderful, goofy robots, and I really recommend that you spend a lot of time here. You can run through all of the heroes, you can learn their abilities, you can put them to the test, you can mess with your sensitivity settings, and you can work on the next thing we're going to talk about, which is implementing strafe into your shooting. So this is how someone who may have just jumped into an FPS is going to play the game. Yeah, I'm getting these guys. I got a double kill. What's up? Okay, that's great. You got a double kill. However, these were robots, and they weren't shooting back at you. Chances are if you stood here like I did and took your time to line up a shot, and then go over here, especially as a new player, it may take you even longer to adjust your reticle with the right stick, you're gonna be killed. This is why strafing is important. Not only can you use strafing as a way to make small aiming adjustments, but it ensures that you're always on the move, which is what you want to do in a first-person shooter. Don't stop moving. Make use of cover, you know, become aware of your environment. Okay, we've got cover here. Let's snap in. We'll fire a couple shots off. Boom, go behind here and reload. Let's push forward. We'll fan fire this guy. Bada boom, bada bing. Pop another reload here. It's all of those things. You have to learn to mix it together, and I know it can be overwhelming at first, but just, you know, work on it. It's a practice. This training range is great for that. It's also wicked satisfying. Overwatch is an immensely satisfying game to play with a controller. I have to be honest. They nailed the sensitivity, you know, the way you can set up your sensitivity. They nailed the small amounts of aim assist that do exist. It seems like it's a little bit less so for the precision characters, and a little bit more so for the melee type support characters like Reinhardt and Roadhog. But man, it's a good feeling game. It really is, and I was a bit concerned, I'll admit, but Blizzard pulled it off, man. So get that strafing down. You know, implement that into your aim. Like I said, here's, you know, me aiming like this. Now, if I strafe, I can keep my gun sort of level. I can make really small adjustments to the right stick while moving with the left stick. That means I have to compensate less here, and I can use this to mitigate that, which just makes you more accurate. It makes you more accurate. It puts you on the move. It makes you a harder target to hit, and it makes you more precise. It's just makes you more consistent as well. Work on that. Seriously, refine that, and once you feel like you're comfortable with that, head into an AI match, head into a bot match, you know? That's the thing you're gonna have to recognize, is that you could spend all this time here in this training, the shooting range with just one hero, but in the full game, you really have to focus on supporting your team. So you won't always be able to go with someone like Mccree. Maybe you'll have to go with Tracer. Maybe you'll have to go with someone like, you know, Reinhardt, or maybe even a healer like Mercy or Lucio. You know, you're gonna have to run all the way across the board, and every hero has their own set of shooting mechanics. But what you've learned here, if you take this to heart and you really practice it, it will just make you better at first-person shooters as a whole, and it will make you more effective at Overwatch. See, the same set of rules applies. You have a slightly, you know, new set of parameters with someone like Hanzo. You have to worry about arrow drop, because it is something that is slightly affected. You also have to pull the arrow back. You have to take that into consideration, but at its core, you're using those strafing mechanics, you're using your aiming, everything I told you about, you know, that making sure your sensitivity is dialed in for precision, and you're using all of that. And that's going to be something that's going to exist with every single hero. So just one small piece of the puzzle that is Overwatch, guys. There's a lot to learn here, but I think this is going to get you on your way to becoming a much better Overwatch player, and as I said, a much better first-person shooter player. You're going to be popping heads in no time. You're going to be boom headshotting all day long. Everyone in the neighborhood's going to hear you as you land that nasty headshot with Mccree and win the game for your team. If you guys have any other questions for me regarding sensitivity, regarding strafing, or anything that I mentioned in the video that I didn't go into enough detail for you, throw it down in the comment section below. I will gladly help you out, as I'm sure many of the more seasoned first-person shooter players here on the channel will as well. Look forward to many more noob tip guides, not just while we're in the beta, but also the full game. And as always, noob tips will be moving forward and covering some of the more complex elements that the game is going to have to offer, like strategies and, you know, focusing a little bit more on hero guides. But I like to start with the basics, and hopefully this helped you out. If it did, let me know down in the comment section below. This is Overwatch on the Xbox One. And at the end of the day, first and foremost, remember to have fun. I'll see you in the next one. Double eyes.